All right, everyone. We are going to try this yet again. I'm having horrible luck with the web playable and just like the emulator stuff. So, anyway, welcome back. We are trying this, I think, for the third or fourth time now. So, we're basically talking about the Stunlock team with Maestro, how you want to go about that fight, and just the kind of overall strategy. So, main important things for this is we want Lady Bullseye over here as a raider. Placement does not really matter too much for this team. ISOs don't really matter too much for this team, except for Lady Bullseye. So we're going to go in. The basic concept of this fight is we are going to want to constantly have a stun trauma on Maestro, and essentially he will never take a turn. And our goal is to basically burn out the timer. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. We are going to basically be managing cooldowns with this fight. We will be attempting to keep three trauma stuns on Maestro basically as much as we can. And some of it is obviously going to come down to RNG. So the RNG factors are going to be Lady Bullseye's special over here, whether or not it crits. And then also we will get a Cyclops out with Professor X, and sometimes the defense down will get resisted. And that's kind of just the other thing. Anyway, so first things first, we got the defense down on Maestro. The reason that is important is Professor X has in his passive, when a character has defense down, he is able to get trauma if he is unable to get trauma, basically. That's part of Maestro's kit. So the reason I like having the Cyclops out is he does give you additional defense downs. And I do apologize with how kind of like laggy this is. This is some random emulator I found, and it's the only one that seems to be working at the moment for me. Anyway, so we have the defense down. We are now going to get the trauma stun with Endgame Thanos. Now, the reason I like doing Endgame Thanos' trauma stun versus Hit Monkey is Endgame Thanos, his trauma stun is 2 turns of each, where Hit Monkeys is only going to be 1 stun and 2 trauma, and it just kind of creates a weird imbalance. And so I think it's easier to manage this way. And then also keeping the Hit Monkey ultimate in your back pocket kind of just gives you additional security. So we've got the trauma stun. We are now going to extend 1 time with Zombie Juggernaut. And you see we're now back up to 2-2. And we're going to basically just we're just doing damage now at this point. And now we are going to see, this is going to be our first resistance check. We'll go in with a special. Hopefully this should go to 3-3 if we crit. And we did not get a crit, which is okay. It just makes managing the cooldowns a little bit more challenging. So we will now go in with Hitmonkey. His special is going to extend everything as well. So we are now at 3-3 for Trauma Stun. So that is the max he can have. So if he's at 3-3, you want to basically hold on to any of your abilities that are going to extend stuff. Anyway, so don't mind the cursed background here for just a second. Okay, so we're going in now with Endgame Thanos' ultimate, basically just to get the defense down back up. It gives you T turns of defense down. We'll go in with Cyclops' basic, and that'll also kind of keep the defense downs going as well. And here I'm basically just doing damage, and I'm just kind of keeping an eye on the turns and where we're at as far as our trauma stuns. So if we get to the point where we only have 1 turn of trauma stun, and we don't have the ability to extend, which, as you can see here, Hitmonkey has 3 more turns. What we then can do is then we could go in with Endgame Thanos' special, as long as he has a defense down, and we'll get another 2 turns of trauma stun. So we're going in, and we're basically just kind of continuing to do damage. And like I said, the reason I like having Cyclops out is because you can kind of keep those defense downs out. So in a situation where you do need to apply the trauma stun again with Endgame Thanos, you are going to need a defense down. And it just gives you kind of additional opportunities to land that. So you'll see there, Lady Bullseye is 1 turn away from being able to do her potential extension. So we are ready there. As you can see, we only have 1 turn of Trauma Stun left. So we are going to just go ahead and extend it with Endgame Thanos. We were able to do that because he does have the defense down. And Obviously, it does give him 10 additional stacks of Wrath, but we should be able to get him to the end of his timer prior to really having to worry about the 100 stacks of Wrath. Like, we shouldn't get to that point. We're going to go in here again, see if we have another resistance check. And we did not crit again, so that is most unfortunate. I think we're going to lose control of Maestro on this one. So I think this one is actually going to be a reset. Because if you look here, so I don't think Zuggs has his extension up, and if Zuggs doesn't have his extension up, we will actually just quit out of here and go. Oh, there we go. So we have an extension, so disregard everything I just said. We are back up to 2-2. So we live another day to kind of keep this mess going. We'll go with the basic, and as you see, we got a defense down. The problem with Cyclops' defense down is it's only one turn, so it kind of only helps if he's going around the time of Endgame Thanos over here. But anyway, we're going to keep the extensions up, so we'll again special with Hit Monkey, so we're back up to 2-2. And we're going to kind of just keep slow playing this. And unfortunately, I mean, this fight is a lot of RNG with the crits from Lady Bullseye and, you know, keeping obviously the defense downs up. Like you saw there, it was resisted. But so we are going to basically be coming up to another RNG check because Lady Bullseye will be going again, and that'll kind of determine whether or not we get the extension again. We're also getting close to Professor X having his special, and we're going to potentially not use that if we can help it. So here, normally I would extend the trauma stun to 2. But because Maestro does not have defense down, it wouldn't land. So you can see here, Thanos should be going after Cyclops. So hopefully the Cyclops will get defense down, and then we can kind of keep things going. That is assuming here Lady Bullseye doesn't crit, which she didn't again. So this is, again, a horrible RNG instance for me. And unfortunately, there's really not a whole lot of super strategy with this. It's really just a lot of, you know, is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? I don't want to chance Cyclops's defense down getting resisted, so I'm going to actually go in with the special here, and that will get me 2 turns of defense down, or at least it should have. Let's see, it just might not be showing. Let's see. There we go. So we have offense. Okay, so we actually do have defense down for 2 turns, so that's good. He just has too many debuffs for me to see it. So that's just something to keep in mind too. Sometimes you might need to check that. We'll go in, kind of keep the defense down going. Now that he has defense down, this will extend this up to 2. And we are up to 55 stacks of Wrath over here, which again should still be okay. Because we are keeping him trauma stunned, and like I said, maybe we'll get some better RNG here, and yeah, we'll see. I think we're actually going to lose control though now. Yeah, because we have one more turn for him. We just used the trauma stun with Endgame Thanos, so this is going to be a reset for me, unfortunately. Yeah, so we'll reset here. I will come back, hopefully with a better setup, and you can kind of see like where we're at. All right, y'all, we are back. I've just kind of been playing through. So far, I actually have not landed a crit with Lady Bullseye, which actually, speak of the devil, I landed one there. So basically just kind of been the same thing that I've been doing, just kind of managing cooldowns, trying to keep the, you know, stun locks going. So with that crit there, that actually puts me in a much better position. So we actually, you know, with a crit, you basically get 1 additional turn of kind of being able to run through and getting back to your cooldowns. So I'm not going to extend here with Endgame Thanos because he can only extend up to 2. So now what'll happen is I will probably end up doing an extension again with Endgame Thanos, as I don't think the rest have their cooldowns up. So yeah, so Hitmonkey is 1 away, and I think Zuggs is 1 away also. But we will get him back up to the 2-2, and then the next round will basically start the extensions again. So we'll again get the 2 trauma stuns because he does still have defense down. And now we will start our round of extensions again. And Lady Bullseye will have her RNG check next turn. So that'll actually be right before Maestro goes. So we've got him back up to 2-2. And this will get him back up to 3-3. So now, basically, when we get to Lady Bullseye, we're actually going to hold on to her special as because we can't get it higher than 3-3. So it's kind of, there's no sense in doing it. So something else to kind of keep in mind too is just the timer actually only runs when the animations are going on, if you weren't aware. So you don't really there's no rush to really pick your attacks. You can certainly slow pick that stuff. And if you're needing to check to see maybe if his defense down debuff has been hidden, don't worry about that as far as that timing goes, as there is no time restrictions when you're selecting your attacks. The timer is only going to go down when animations are occurring. So like you see here, we're at 232. We could sit here all day and it won't go down any further. As soon as we press this and animations start, the timer will start going down as well. All right, anyway, so kind of let's keep going. We're now going to come into that resistance check with the critting. So let's see if we can land a crit here. And we did not, but that is okay, because we still have our 2 turns. And there we go. So we're basically, again, at that 1 turn paranoia. We're going to get back up to 2-2. And you'll see now he is up to 55 stacks of rage, which is okay. We will definitely get him timed down prior to, the rage stacks reaching 100. And again, so we're just kind of, just kind of slowly doing damage over here to Maestro. We will try to get the extension on the defense down, which we did, so we're back up to 2-2. We like that. That is basically just our security blanket, where if we run into a situation where he's down to 1-1, we can land the trauma stun again with Endgame Thanos. So we are 2 turns from Endgame Thanos getting to his point. And actually, I think we are going to run into a point. Let's see. I think we are out of trauma stun. So actually, believe it or not, I think this one is... Oh, there we go. Just in the nick of time. Thought this was going to actually end up being a reset. So we're back up to 2-2. Thank goodness, because I was not looking forward to doing this again, as I think this is my 3rd or 4th attempt at this. And it's really just, again, it's an RNG thing. So if you want to put in the time to kind of get the max points, unfortunately, this is the way to do it. So we'll again get the trauma stun extended, as well as the defense down. Looks like our turn meter bugged out, but it is back. He's at 2-2, so we will again try the resistance check with Lady Bullseye. And we landed the crit there, so we're now up to 3-3, which is wonderful, as that gives us a lot of buffer. And to me, this is looking like a good run, so we should be able to keep him managed for the remaining of our timer. And yeah, so we'll just kind of keep doing some damage here. We don't need to extend the defense down or the trauma stun, so we'll go in with a basic. As again, 3-3 is kind of the max you can get up there. So yeah, we're just going to kind of keep hitting them down, and we will kind of keep this going. And I will be back when the timer is just a little bit closer to 0. So not too much has changed. We are down to our last just about 30 seconds. I figured I would get back on with the gameplay. So again, we've just kind of been managing the trauma stuns and the defense downs. The last round of Lady Bullseye specials did not crit, but it's okay because, as you can see, he is still trauma stunned. And we are still only at 55 stacks of rage, so we are well within our kind of like rage stacks. We are kind of down to one trauma stun, so I will actually go in here with Endgame Thanos' special again, just to kind of keep the trauma stun, and so we'll probably end this match with 65 stacks of rage, which is fine. On this particular fight, I actually didn't go in and use the special again with Professor X, as it just wasn't needed. So we're going to try to get one last resistance check, and we failed that one. Which again, it's okay because we have it ready for Hit Monkey, and honestly, we'll probably time out before then. So this is just going to be kind of more of an animation thing. And believe it or not, with the timers, it actually is literally down to like seconds, or actually milliseconds, I guess, in this point. So even though it says 7, there's also the milliseconds behind that. So like occasionally the timer will say 0 and you'll still get like a couple turns. That's just basically, again, going down to the milliseconds, which is kind of wild. But anywho, we'll go in, we will get one last extension, and I will probably get maybe one more attack, maybe two if we're lucky. So we'll go in with kind of like a quick attack, and this should probably be the last one. Okay, we got a couple more milliseconds. Let's see what we can do. Okay, I'll keep going. And maybe it's more than milliseconds, because this is strange. We actually should be saying finish here any time now. There we go. All right, so that is basically this fight. You can obviously put up bigger numbers if you have larger characters, and obviously they're going to be doing more damage. But 1.7 is pretty respectable. You can certainly get north of the 2 billion range. And just to kind of look at that team, just so you can kind of see where they are. So they are basically all 105 with the exception of Professor X, who is 110, and they all happen to be G20, but that is certainly not required. Obviously, the higher gear and levels you have on the characters, the more damage you're going to put out. But that is going to be the stun lock team and just the mechanics behind it. So hopefully you did find this helpful, and yeah, good luck.